And here we go, chat. All right, y'all ready? That is the song Got Some Work to Do, Lawrence. That's right. Okay, chat, are y'all ready? Everybody get hyped. This is round 2. Chat, say hi to YouTube. YouTube, say hi to Twitch. Twitch to YouTube and all that other stuff. You can say hi to your future self if you're in the Twitch chat and you're watching on YouTube later, and vice versa. You can say hi to the Twitch chat if you watch it on YouTube. Cool. Let's analyze it. This one is round 2. So I'm playing against Jonathan Chin, FM, strong player, right? And here I prepped a little bit something different. Because here, instead of playing King's Indian of Defense, I was looking into some Grunfeld areas, which is very sharp stuff. So here we go. He plays d4, and we can't kind of plays right into it because, I mean, this is like you're going to play what you play. So d4, knight of 6, he goes knight of 3. I go g6. Now, the title of this one actually is called Escape Artist. Woo! Escape Artist. After g6, c4, bishop g7. Yeah, wait till you see the thumbnail. Burn Turn of Foolish. If you've seen it, thank you. Shout out to my thumbnail maker, graphic designer. Okay, bishop g7 and g3 and castles, right? Bishop g2, and you're thinking it's gonna be KID, right? King's Indian, right? But then I hit him with something special. I hit him with the d5. Let's go. Yeah, he wasn't expecting that. I'm sure he was not expecting d5 because I don't ever usually play this. So, but I had doing a lot of prep with this and working on it and just like checking lines and looked at a whole lot of games at d5. So it was sort of a surprise here, d5. So he takes and castles and knight b6. The reason for knight b6 is you could go knight c6, but you don't want to get hit with tempo. You just don't want to get hit with tempo. Yes, e4 can happen, but you don't want to get hit with tempo. So knight b6. Now if e4 happens, I can play c5 or even knight c6, knight a5. It's a little bit different. You're playing the Grunfeld setup. Yeah, Grunfeld-like. Of course, I am liking it. It's a neo Grunfeld here on delayed exchange, in fact. But here, with the bishop on g7, it's still King's Indianish, but the pawn's not on t6. So it's still, I like the sharp positions that can arise from it. He goes knight c3. I go knight c6. This is a whole theory. e3, and then I go rook e8, preparing e5. And then he goes d5, right? And where do you put the knight at, chat? So let's actually see if people are on the game here. Where do you actually put this knight? Where do you put the knight? Canty, what's up, bro? a5. Okay, Padaka with knight a5. Knight b5. Wow, knight b5. Garbage. Nice. Knight e5. a5. Okay. Knight b4. Oh, okay. Yeah, I know what he meant. He meant b4. Yeah, b4. Great job, guys. I mean, everybody has a move here. It's pretty good. Yeah, in fact, I went with the knight a5 option, which is totally fine. Knight b4 is a move too as well. Knight a5. Knight a5, the reason for this is we're going to strike the center with c6, put the knight on c4 in many cases, right? And then he goes knight to d4, which I'm used to this. I remember seeing knight d4 in my files before. He goes knight d4, I go bishop d7. I'm developing, everything's equal, everything's fine. And then he goes here. So as white here, I remember, I mean, I have tons of games and files that I've looked at. Then went rook e1, b3. I think there was a b4 as well. Sometimes bishop d2, queen e2, or rook d1. There's even a rook b1, h3. I mean, a whole bunch of moves. Even knight b3, I think, too, as well. e4 in some cases. I've seen all these moves. Knight b4 actually is not losing out. Knight b4 is actually it's a cool line. Knight b4 hits the pawn, and then after e4, it's a wild line. After c6, if they go a3, you got knight a6. This is like deep theory. And then takes, and usually if the pawn's on e5, you got queen e7. But this is sort of fine for black here. Engine gives us like half a point for white, which is usually what they get anyway. And then if you do the other way with queen b3, this is like theory. Queen b3, you have knight here. A lot of times too, they could go with the knight a4, rook d1 stuff. Obviously the bishops, you don't want to give it up. So bishop e3, c takes d5, and then I think knight takes. You could take with either or, but this gets very, very sharp. Very sharp, very quickly. The knight sometimes is strange. You reroute to e5. That's the whole idea. Is rerouting either like this, or sometimes, you know, to b4 and back around to e5. A lot of knight moves. Sometimes the bishop goes to g4. Like, this stuff is very rich in counterplay and etc. So after rook to e8, it was d5. Yeah, and see, yeah, right. They seen your prep. No, they're not seeing nothing there. They ain't seeing nothing yet for Picante. All right. Funny. Okay, so after knight e5, knight to d4, and then bishop d7. So bishop d7, great move, right? By me, obviously, I'm just developing a piece. Nothing. But then he goes queen to c2. And with this queen c2 move, this, I was like, I haven't seen this one. Like, and I was like, okay, cool. We gotta think. I mean, this doesn't, like, it's not alarming, but it's just not like, well, queen c2. I mean, I am trying to do this anyway. Right? Like, you know, queen c2 is not one I was familiar with. But okay, here, what do you do? What do you do, chat? Black to move. What do you do? What do you do? What is the move? You like queen c2? Pepper Canty says he likes queen c2. Curious Chimpanzee with rook to c8. This looks weird for black, so I'm worried about the knight on e5. Well, you have to be comfortable with this. In fact, it is a very common worry. In fact, is the knight. But if you look at many games, you'll be, once you see it many times, then you're more comfortable doing it. Because the knight is actually very nicely placed on a5, and if this opens up, it just encourages c5. Knight c8. Knight c8, bro. That one I did not consider. That's a funny move. Rook c8, c6, c3. Okay, c6 there. King g7. Garbo. Can't even go there. e6. Something c4, knight c4. One of the knights to c4. Rook c8 from Magna Carta. Okay, so what I'm supposed to play here, Johnson's like, yo, what I'm supposed to play here is queen to c8, which is the first move I'm going to play. I had this in my head. I'm like, play queen c8. I just don't like the fact that my queen is here, but it is principal. Not only does it get off the d file, which is annoying sometimes in certain lines, I can play c5 and bishop to h3. This is the whole idea, is trying to trade, but he still could move the rook. And what I didn't like is if I go bishop h3, which I'm not trying to do now because the rook's now gone, so I can't trade the bishops. Very precise opening to play. Wow, it's very precise, but the problem is later, and I need some space. And my queen's on the back rank, so I'm gonna have to break with c6 or c5. I really like the c5 here, but the engine just says he goes back. I mean, there's kind of a hole here. I still could go around this way, but this isn't the greatest. This is not what I really wanted. I feel kind of cramped, but I mean, it'd be less cramped of what I played, which was rook c8. So, I mean, the queen looks kind of, in fact, me and my coach looked at this, right, and just looked at, kind of just overall what we need to work on, obviously, for the tournament, for the next tournaments, and etc. But queen d8, right, the queen, the term we use here was, it looks funny. It looks like, funny here. It looks kind of funny on d8. It's just funny looking, all right? So, okay, rook c8, I'm trying to play c5. Open up shop, right? Easy one. But he goes rook d1. All right, cool, rook d1, whatever. c5, right, chat? Okay, so, I mean, he's giving us c5. So it's black to move. What do you do? When do we play c5? You like c6? We did put a rook on the file there, so you gotta be a little bit careful there, you Wizzle. Smoothed. That's Edwin Walker. Bishop g4. Okay, c5 loses. a6, a6. Bishop to g4. Very nice, chat. Can't allow knight b5 from Wizzle. Okay. Okay. Why not b4 followed by knight c6? I don't like black here, to be honest. Yeah, you gotta be careful. You gotta be very careful. We need to break with c5. We need to get this off to get some play. We can't really break with e6, right? But then I realized, wait a second. Can't we just break with c5 anyway, right? Because after c5, pawn takes, knight takes, knight takes. I can take with the pawn, right? And I have this kind of position, and the queen goes to c7. And this isn't as bad. And maybe e5, e6, rook d8, and the bishops. Yes, I have these are weak, but these are like, this is equal in a way, very equal. His bishop's still not out yet, and I still have the c4 square. This isn't as that bad. Plus, I still can get out of this at any time. So c5's a great move, right? So I play c5, right? You know, c5 is a great move. But in fact, C5 is 100% premium.
Garbage.
Garbage. It is not a move.
Bruh.
At all. Any way, shape, and form. And then he picks up the knight and he puts it on e6. And then I contemplated and I thought for like, so I sat here for a second. And I was thinking to myself, should I, A, flip the entire DGT board?
Bruh.
B, walk out, come back, flip the DGT board?
Bruh.
Or C, figure this out? So, after 96, I definitely thought about A. And then I really thought about A. And I looked around the room and I was still thinking about, well, it may not be that bad, you know? Yeah. Yeah, A was flipping the DGT board costumes. A, that sounds good. Yeah, just flipping, just literally like, You know, I was going to think and play it off too. 96. And then just flip the whole board, you know what I mean? Like, I was ready to do that. I was ready to do that. But I was like, you know what? Let me try to figure this out. And I remember here, in fact, my coach actually, and even and this is for everyone watching this, right? Remember, this is called Escape Artist. What you have to do here is in positions like this, you have to learn. I remember my coach telling me this. I've been working with him since December. He said, you have to learn how to fight and play in positions that are not fun. And I'm like, this is not fun. That's the first thing I thought. And I was like, why do we have to go through that? Like, why? It hurts. Why? Because you gotta learn. So 96. At this point, this is very scary. So if pawn takes, right? If pawn takes, I mean, you could go for this. In fact, the engine says this is your best.
Bruh.
But you know what? They only give it it's only +2. It's only +2. But I mean, no, honestly, like look at this. Like for real. It's only +2, and I'm for real. Like it's only +2 here. And I really thought about this. But the fact that he still has both bishops and a minor. If I had one more minor gone, I would be like, I got enough compensation for sure. But if without this, like this isn't enough, you know what I mean? Like this isn't enough compensation for me right now. So I just didn't feel like this was enough. Yeah, if I got off one more minor piece, I would really think like this is better. Or at least hold the bucket, hold and do more. And do more. Hence though, I was like, well, you know what? Let's calculate. Hence, that's my whole theme of the tournament. Well, for me, was debriefing was I need to calculate more and better. So bishop takes e6. Why not just queen c7? I don't see the issue. Oh, bro, you right.
Bruh.
I ain't even think of this. I ain't even think of that. I ain't even see that move, boy. That's just like, that's crazy. I ain't even see queen c7. Wow. That he was just going to take my queen on c7. Wow.
Bruh.
All right. Well, bishop takes e6. Right. Okay. So bishop takes e6. So I take. You mean after takes. You mean after takes. So pawn takes queen c7, and then e takes d7 is pretty gross. Right. This is pretty gross. This is like, oh my goodness, 95. I mean, this probably isn't as worse, but this is still scary. It's just too much. This is loose. There's a bishop h3 looming. I think this is pretty ugly. But what I chose here was something similar, which was this. I thought that my damage would be here after bishop takes. I could limit the damage after queen c7, which is a move I do play after capturing with the bishop. And then look at this. After the dust settles, I'm like, all right. And he goes 94. And here we go in this position right here. The dust has settled. And I am not mated. I am still hanging on right now. It is plus 2.7. Black to move. I go h6 to stop knight g5. I'm out here in the middle of the street, but I'm fighting. I'm fighting, my guy. I'm not going down. He goes h4, right, with some h5 action. Of course, I'm like, I take this moment to get a knight back in the game. We need to do something right now. I go knight AC to knight c4 because I need to get something back around here. Engine says he should have played like bishop f1 and a4. But I mean, I understand him playing h5. And I was like, what would Tal do? What would Nesmedinov do? You know, like, what would they do? My family members, my relatives, right? They play h5 here. and we gonna take it. So we took that. I was like, bro, take it. And I took it a little bit, like, just a little bit harder than usual. Just like, you know, a very crisp. You know, I always got pieces with me. So it was like this. Y'all listen. It was like that. It wasn't like you can do the ones just like, you know what I mean? Like, oh, that was a gunshot, you know, or you do the ones just like, you know what I mean? Like the smooth ones. All right. You know what I mean? Yeah, it was just a little click there. Just a little click clack. King out here lifting weights in the middle of the yard, right? Flexing. Oh, wait till T smash. I got something for you later. Oh man, not this round. Okay, so pawn takes h5. As the pawn takes h5, he goes knight c3. Here, I'm like, all right, cool. This ain't that bad. Now, you would never guess. Well, actually, no. In fact, I did see this, but I wasn't about to do this. I mean, I'm not doing this at all. Engine says best move is bishop takes c3, and then put the queen on e5. So you're saying that with my king in the middle of the street, take on c3 and leave him with two bishops and put my queen here, and I'm totally fine. You have lost your mind. I'm not doing that. So, I mean, like, look at this, bro. Like, it looks like a disaster. I'm good, bro. So, but at least the engine's like, yo, you're fine, bro. You're fine. So after knight c3, though, he goes knight c3. I bring the knight to e5. I took this chance to bring the knight back around to e5. He goes queen f5 check. I bring the king back to g8, right? So I'm like, cool. Now I could probably play rook f8 if I can get the knight to g4, because I thought he was going to take time taking the pawn, right? Exactly, Magna Carta, right? So knight b5, he hits the queen. I'm like, all right, whatever. I back up. Queen b8, he takes on h5. And then I'm like, let's take this time to trade. So I try to trade rooks. He trades. Boom. I'm like, this isn't that bad anymore. I am fighting. What's up, Nani? What's good, girl? And then e4. So he plays e4. He's hitting bishop h6. And here I should have spent a little bit more time to find this move. In fact, it is number 3 on the engine here, right? In this position, this is wild. I'm hanging on by a thread. I am hanging on by an absolute thread. Is black to move, chat? What do you do? What do you do here? Hanging on by a thread. And he's getting in time trouble here right now, too, as well. He probably got like 10 minutes, maybe more. I'm sure he got more than 10. But he was definitely getting lower on time. Queen d6. Okay, Queen d6. Are you sure about that, Magna? You sure about that? I'm just gonna here you go, bro. Like,
Garbage.
here you go. You know, you probably want to check that one more time.
Garbage.
Yeah, for the people in the back.
Garbage.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a whole phase blockage there, my guy. 100% premium. Queen d6 is not a move. Knight d7. Knight f7. a6. We got some a6 action. Okay, the a6. Clap it up, chat. a6 is the move. And that's the move I played too, right? The move I played. And it's going to make you feel like 100%. Because a6 is actually the third move on the engine. But in a way, I kind of missed this. Because after a6, he did this. Y'all ready? He going to hit you right here. Boom! Whoop. Bishop takes h6. You wasn't expecting that, were you? You wasn't expecting that, were you? Because I wasn't. It was a bolt out of the blue. I did not expect bishop takes h6. I was like, wait. Bro, I'm just going to take the knight. You tripping, bro. You tripping. You literally tripping. Get your mans. Somebody getting right now. But then I realized that if I take the bishop first, and then queen takes, and then if I take the knight, he's going to take on b6.
Bruh.
So when I play a6, the pawn was defending the b6 knight. So I had to, so that's trouble. Well, what if I just take the knight? After a takes b5, he goes queen g5. He goes queen g5. And you're mated. And in fact, after this is what I did. I played a takes b5. He went queen g5. And now what, chat?
Bruh.
I mean, do we just resign, right? We just hit the resi button? Is that a yes or a no, chat? Are we just resigning here or no? Because I don't see a way out of this. King f8. Oh, okay. Oh, king f7. Run for the hills. Run for the hills. Knight g6, queen e5. Okay, that's cute. I likes. Knight f3 check. Queen e5. In fact, I am an escape artist. Your man found a very nice resource here. Knight f3 check. Oh my goodness. Woo, sheesh. If only I was calculating like this from the beginning of the game, and for this tournament being the entire theme of my tournament was calculation. and better calculation, I would be finding these moves immediately, and it's got better. I think I got better with my calculation throughout this tournament when it should have just been from the start. But knight f3 check forces the idea of he has to take it. Bishop takes f3. I go queen e5. I find the only move, and I'm still hanging on by an absolute thread. I don't know what's about to happen. So what he does, he's getting time trouble. He takes. And I'm like, perfect. And then we reach this position. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. And I'm sitting here thinking, what is going on right now? I am an escape artist. I cannot believe Houdini couldn't get his way out of this one. And I'm finding a way. So king takes g7. He finds rook d1. It's still not over yet. It is still not over yet. Do not celebrate. You have a job to do. I don't know what's going to happen here still. You need to create chances and threats. Do we trade or not to trade? That is the question. Chat, what do we do? Black to move. Do we trade or not to trade? Absolutely not, says Jaliptic. Optically, this looks rough for black, says Jaliptic. Rook to f8. Rook f8. d6. So we have one for rook d6. Still looks good for white. Rook e4. King d7. Man, if I was going to be so upset. Hey, look, I understand. I mean, I've had many games. Oh, yeah, look at my Chicago Open. 2019 round 1 against 2500. A Wonderly Yang +4 in the position where I should have completely won. Lost, actually. +4, by the way. Yeah, it hurts. It hurts. But you learn, right? Rook d1. Here's the move. I play rook a8. So I stay active. I hit the a pawn. Right? I hit the a pawn. And if a3, I was just going to go knight c4. And I was just going to start attacking him. And then after rook c1, knight takes b2. Rook takes c5. I saw rook takes a3. I'm hitting the bishop, right? And this is definitely looking more draw-like. Definitely looking more draw-like. I can start pushing the pawn if he's not careful. Maybe I could have some chances due to the past b pawn. So it goes from like me losing to me trying to get a draw, maybe, to me almost winning, right? So especially with this b pawn being passed and quick with the rook and bishop or rook and knight, I may be able to create some weird threats. So what happens after rook a8? He doesn't go for this. In fact, he goes rook to c1 immediately. Rook to c1 immediately, right? Okay, and then immediately, right, I take on a2, and I offer a draw here because he's getting low on time. And I'm figuring I am about to get out of this one. I just don't want to mess this up any longer. So rook takes a2, and he takes it, bro. And that's it. It's like, that's it. And it's a draw. This escape artist was real because to look at this, from where it was, I should not have gotten this at all. Oh, this was definitely an escape artist. Houdini lives, right. It was a CPU analysis, roller coaster draw. Wow, exactly. The computer says, well, basically white was winning by a lot. In fact, 96 right here is +2 already. +2 already. But I was able to survive here. Right now it's +2.8. And then as you let it think, it goes up. So now it's +3. The engine says bishop d, but it's hard. It's not one of those positions like, right now, the engine says the best move is bishop d2.
Bruh.
The second is rook b1, and bishop h3 was one that I looked at as well. But, I mean, it tells you that the best move here is bishop d2, right? This is, I mean, yeah, it looks bad for black, but I thought to myself, he's going to have to beat me. I mean, yes, it's bad, but I don't see a clear lose. I'm not lost yet, right? That's what I was saying. So, and it worked out here, and I just played on, and I was able to convert a draw, but it was tough. What's rook c1? Once rook c1, yeah, but this was tough. I mean, it was just hard because he had to play moves that are almost inhuman to find. Maybe not inhuman, but he play like, for instance, right here, bishop f1. They like bishop f1, a4, and h5, which he played. But a4 here, I mean, I could just go a5. Interesting. He got the draw though. Very difficult to find. Yeah, but we got the draw in this one. So this one was round 2. Shout out to Jonathan Chen. This was a great game. But yeah, this was round 2, guys. Make sure you guys subscribe to the YouTube channel, and we'll see you guys for tomorrow for round 3.